Talking with politician and entertainer Anthony Albanese. How's it going, Anthony?
I'm going well.
Can I call you Anthony, or do I have to call you Sir or something?
You can call me Albo if you like.
All right, Albo. DJ Albo in the house. I regret that instantly. So you're here for the launch of the Reclink Community Cup. Are you pumped
Absolutely. 25th anniversary. It's a big deal. It's grown, and this year's theme is From Little Things, Big Things Grow. And that's the case in terms of the charity of delivering things for disadvantaged people, but it's also the case in terms of the footy, which has grown all around the country now, not just Melbourne, but Sydney, Henson Park in my electorate in Marrickville, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart.
Are they getting...
And Canberra. It's even in Canberra.
Are they getting into it?
They are. Henson Park is a great little footy oval. It's where Newtown Rugby League team used to play, and it's big enough so that it's a full-size AFL ground, and indeed, hopefully the Swans AFL women's team, when they're formed, will play there, and it's a great thing. It's the craft beer capital of the world is my electorate, the inner west of Sydney.
That is...
Melbourne does a lot of things better than Sydney, I accept that. Bigger crowds at the footy, all of that. Great music scene. You don't have lockout laws, but we do craft beer well.
You got a handy little beach there as well.
Kinda, yeah. A beach, a harbour, pretty good waterways. I mean, we're at St Kilda, which is, as far as beaches go, just isn't really a beach, is it?
It's, yeah.
It's a bay, which is nice, but you need waves and...
You a surfer?
I try to be. bit like myself as a footballer. I'm a trier.
Because you have played in the Community Cup in Sydney.
I have. I play for the Whalers, that are the Rock Dogs' cousin team. I'm pretty hopeless, to be frank, but I can kick a footy. I played rugby league, and I played around the halves, and I was a goal kicker. And so I learnt I can kick a footy, I can mark or catch, as you call it in rugby league, a footy. But the other finer points of the game, I'm not as good at. But I've been an AFL fan since I was a kid, so.
How did you get into that?
I had an uncle who lived in Melbourne for a long time, so I used to play rugby league as a kid. And then I'd go back to his place at Edgecliff, and I'd watch the match of the day. And I'd watch it every week, religiously. I think it was 1:10 in the afternoon, the bounce. And so I always followed AFL, and I was a Hawthorn supporter, because if you're a South Sydney supporter, you couldn't support Carlton with the same as Newtown, and North Sydney, Essendon, Richmond and Balmain Tigers, Collingwood and West Magpies, whereas the Hawks didn't have an equivalent, so there was no conflict of interest.
But they're the Silver Spoon team. You're talking about the affluent East there.
I didn't know that, mate. I didn't know that. I was from Sydney. I'd never been to Melbourne.
I think it's telling.
I'd never been to Melbourne in my life. So I follow teams of red and green and brown and gold. Now, if you're talking about hipster wear, you probably don't start off with those colours, but that's just the way it is, and you can't change your team.
No, that's important.
So when the Swannies came to Sydney, South Melbourne, I became a member of the Swans, and I was involved in Save Our Swans when there was a move to kick them out of the comp when they were completely hopeless. And I remember going to the SCG at times where they said the crowd was 12,000, but it was probably more like 5. And they went a long time between wins.
From little things, big things grow.
Indeed, and then they've been very successful in recent years. They're a well-run club, and I still go watch them at the SCG.
You're in the middle of an election campaign. Why did you decide to make time to come down here for this?
Because they told us I should. The Reclink people, John Bayliss is very convincing. Yeah, they do a great job looking after disadvantaged people. The Community Cup's something I've been involved in for quite a few years because of it being at Henson Park. and I've been to Elstonwick to watch the Rock Dogs and the Megahertz play, and it's a great thing. I've been involved in the Canberra game a bit as well, and I just think when you have a grassroots organisation that is doing good things with disadvantaged people, independent of government and of big business, it's just really deserving of support. So when I was asked to commit to this, it was before the election had been called, but I never break a commitment.
And do you actually like Bill Shorten?
I do like Bill Shorten. I think that he will make a great Prime Minister, and I think our whole team is so much better than the other side.
You're DJing, so you've got a few skills. You're a footballer, politician, DJ. What's your most passionate with those?
Well, I'm much better as a politician, the truth is. But I get a great deal of enjoyment. The DJ stuff started when I hosted Rage, when I was the communications minister. And I got to host Rage, which was one off the bucket list. And people liked the set that I played. And so I've played in Sydney as part of the lead-up, raising funds for Reclink. And I've done a few other fundraisers. There's a girls' refuge in my electorate that takes young women and girls who are escaping domestic violence, who are escaping issues in their family in terms of some of the young girls. And there's this great community event at Leichhardt Bolo every year that attracts hundreds of people. Last year there would have been about 600 people there who all raised money to help this refuge. It's in the middle of a suburban neighbourhood that really looks after these young women and girls, and also raises awareness by the fact that that's happening. So if I can go along, it's basically a bunch of retired musos play, and they play cover versions, and in between sets I do a bit of a DJ set, and it's just a good bit of fun. I don't take myself too seriously, but it's if it raises money for a good cause, then that's a good thing.
What are your go-to dance floor fillers?
I always finish. I don't want to. This will be shown after the event, so I'm not breaking out any of the secrets here. But I always finish with Iggy Pop, The Passenger, because that's a good sing-along song too. So I'll probably don't tell Jed Carney, but I'll draft her up on the stage to make her sing.
Well, that's a big finish.
I got Penny Wong to sing in Adelaide. If you know anything about Penny Wong, who's a very dear friend of mine, but she's actually a bit shy. And the idea that she would sing at a fundraiser I did in Adelaide was, I think, quite remarkable. I think that's one of my big achievements in politics, getting Penny Wong to sing. Iggy Pop. So I don't think she'd heard of Iggy Pop before she sang.
Well, how did that go?
It's pretty. She was fantastic.
I feel like you're about to give an honest answer for a second.
I was about to break into song there.
Well, I feel.
But I play mainly Aussie indie stuff that you'd expect someone of my vintage to play. So Spiderbait and Jet and
Spiderbait got a big connection to the Community Cup.
They do indeed, and Cram's a great fellow. And tonight I'll be playing Shazam.
That'll go off.
It will go off. It always does.
So maybe just to finish off, do you have any sort of predictions for the games? Obviously you've got a bigger connection to the Sydney one, but what do you think's going to happen down here with the Rock Dogs and Megahertz?
Well, I have to be loyal to the Rock Dogs. But the good thing is that no one takes it too seriously, I hope. There's a bit of pretense, but it really is just about a bit of good fun, played in good spirits. One of the times I played, I was sitting in the forward pocket at Henson Park. There I was. The person they sent to mark me was 30 years younger than me, was infinitesimally more fit than I was. And he's there and he's doing the bump and all this. And I said, mate, seriously, if you've got to do that versus me, you're in big, big trouble. Like, just chill out.
And then you kicked 10.
Only in my dreams, mate. Only in my dreams.
I guess
I took a really good mark once. That's my only achievement. And I laid off for a goal assist to Banjo, who's
Patterson.
the Banjo who plays there. I don't know what his name is. He has a beard. He swaps sides at various times. He's a bloody good player. But I laid off to him to kick the goal.
Well, so I've asked you about the one. That's the one big comp coming up. But the other one, I guess it'd be remiss of me not to ask how do you think the election's going to go?
Well, I don't take it for granted, but I think that the country's ready for a change. This mob are hopeless.
I guess it's
Get rid of them.
good.
They've got to go.
Guess that's
Vote Labor. At least once.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Albo.
Thank you. I didn't mean it. Only vote once. But make sure your friends all vote as well.